Today we stand and pause at the water's edge, at Jordan, and listen. The prophecy from the second part of the book of Isaiah announces joy and consolation for a wounded nation. The desert itself will rejoice, and it is from the desert that the voice of the Baptist will come, announcing the presence of the true consolation of Israel. The Trinitarian manifestation reveals the fullness of salvation at the point at which the Saviour of mankind enters upon the short part of history that will change cosmic history and lead to the reopening of the doors of paradise. Although he had no need of baptism, the Saviour began his preaching by the preaching of his own example. He identified himself with all the centuries to come and indicated the divine will with regard to the practice of Christian initiation. Baptism binds the Christian soul both to the Blessed Trinity and to fellow believers. And baptismal grace is the essential bonding which already in this world makes blood brothers of all who follow the Master through the sacred waters. Julian of Norwich talks of all mine even Christians. This sharing in divine grace is the bottom line of all ecumenical dialogue and communion. How can any soul in love with the Saviour not also encounter in mystic union any and every soul in a similar orientation of love? Two souls looking towards Jesus can but somehow meet in Him. Hence it is that we need to hesitate before settling for mental postures of entrenchment with regard to any form of them and us that might wound Christian charity. The fact is that through baptism more joins souls to each other than can separate them from their brethren, as long as the flame and fire to which the Gospel alludes is kept alive. On the contrary, once that inner energy and life has been destroyed, a deep separation may indeed take place on the level of the soul, even between fellow believers, within the very same assembly. Spiritual ecumenism is a reality, as real as the Lord's command of mutual charity. The Holy Spirit and fire are promised in the context of the Lord's baptism. Fire has to be attended, and the soul must not let all its divine energy evaporate through too many gaping pores. Fire has power, and the inhabited soul has the power of its guest. A soul that is alive is empowered and instrumentally efficacious. A baptized soul that has allowed the flame to be extinguished has a passport, certainly, but it may find that at the border with eternity it has lost its potential. For many a baptized soul can be lost through neglect of the divine life given the moment of the conferral of the heavenly seal. Even the seal of confirmation and priesthood itself remains imprinted on the soul that turns away and opts willingly for the game of the enemy of the soul. The fire must be fanned, cared for, and given space to energize. For that to happen, the shedding of the old and of the profane, of which the Apostle writes, and the wearing of the baptismal garment in all its concrete and concomitant effects must be part of the context of the conferral of Christian initiation. As St. John Paul II indicated in Novo Millennio Ineunte, to ask for baptism is actually to ask to become a saint. Configuration to Christ cannot but mean similarity and identification with him. The notion that a little bit of sin does not really matter is an illusion. For a little indelicacy towards the guest invited into the soul at baptism is a grave injury in relationship with the one who is more intimately within than our own inner self. Ubi caritas in amor, ubi caritas Deus in